Good evening. Would the meeting of the Newark City Council please come to order? And you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all members of the City Council are here this evening, with the exception of Councilmember Bucci. Okay, item B is presentations. I'd like to ask Dr. Ramesh Chopra to join me up here. Hello, Dr. Chopra. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is proclamation number 1878, Hindu Heritage Month. And whereas Hinduism is the third largest religion in the world, with more than 1 billion followers worldwide and 4 million in the United States, and whereas Hindu Americans represent one of the fastest growing communities in the country, and whereas the Hindu American community has made significant contributions to the social, cultural, and economic vibrancy of our state and nation, adding to our diversity and prosperity, and whereas Hindu Americans have made numerous positive contributions in all aspects of society, from science to business to politics to spirituality, and whereas during the month of October, the culture, history, traditions, achievements, and contributions of Hindu Americans are recognized and celebrated throughout the United States, now therefore I, Alan L. Nagy, Mayor of the City of Newark, on behalf of the Newark City Council, do hereby proclaim October 2022 as Hindu Heritage Month in Newark. And I'd like to present this to Dr. Chopra, who has done so much for the Hindu Americans in our area here. And Dr. Chopra, I understand you have a few words to say.
Well, thank you, Mayor. First of all, on behalf of Americans for Hindus, Festival of Glow, we call it FOG, Federation of Hindu Americans, and our Vedic Dharam Samaj, Fremont Hindu Temple, and other temples in the area, I would like to thank Mayor Alan Nagy and all the council members for recognizing us. As Mayor said, this is a Hindu Heritage Month, the month of October, and we are very, very proud that we've been able to share and showcase some of our culture, some of our heritage, some of our values, our philosophies, what we believe in the form of festivals, which we've been doing, and many of them specifically in the city of Newark. And Mayor has been very, very kind and grateful to help us out. We've had Festival of Colors, the Holi, few times, and of course, he's been showing up in most of our festivals, which we do, whether it's a India Day Parade or other Hindu festivals like Festival of Lights, Diwali. And we are very, very grateful for encouraging us, inspiring us, and continuously so that we can continue to contribute towards the wellness, happiness, well-being of the city of Newark, and keep it progressing and growing in leaps and bounds. Thank you so, so much. Once more time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chopra. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, now I'd like to have Katie Dennis and Jasenia Tamani and Janelle Mensinger join me here. Hello, how are you? Jasenia, how are you? Hello, Janelle, how are you? Great. Ladies and gentlemen, these are three of the wonderful staff that we have at the Sullivan Center. And these ladies make it all happen over there. So if you haven't had a chance yet, get by the Sullivan Center and see some of the great work that they do. So this is proclamation number 1879, Unity Day, Bullying Awareness and Prevention Day. Whereas bullying is physical, verbal, or emotional harm or intimidation intentionally directed at a person or a group of people that occurs in neighborhood parks, playgrounds, and schools and through technology, including the internet and cell phones. And whereas hundreds of children and adolescents in the city of Newark are affected by bullying annually. And whereas targets of bullying are more likely to acquire physical, emotional, and learning problems than students who are repeatedly bullied often fear such activities as riding the bus, going to school, and attending community activities. And children who witness bullying often feel less secure and more fearful and intimidated. And whereas Unity Day will promote kindness, inclusion, and acceptance for all people and provide bullying awareness and prevention resources for children and families in Newark. Now, therefore, I, Alan L. Nagy, Mayor of the City of Newark, on behalf of the Newark City Council, do hereby proclaim October 19th of 2022 as Unity Day, Bullying Awareness and Prevention Day in Newark, and encourage Newark schools, students, parents, recreation programs, religious institutions, and community organizations to engage in a variety of awareness and prevention activities designed to make our community safer for all children and adolescents. And it's my pleasure to present this commendation to the three of you, and thank you again for all the work that you do on behalf of the City of Newark and our residents. We truly appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Thank you. It looks like you have something for us. All right. Okay, thank you. Very nice. Okay, there you go. Yes, I'll do that. Thank you.
I want to see your bright orange when you're walking.
Definitely, yes. Thank you. Oh, the name and everything. Thank you. Very much. Thank you.
Okay, if I could have Matthew Avila join me. Hi, Matthew. How are you, sir? Ladies and gentlemen, this is always the fun part of the program and rewarding part. This is Matthew Avila, Senior Building Inspector. And Matthew joined the City of Newark in 2016 as a building inspector, and 1.5 has grown through the ranks, learning as much as possible. He was promoted to the Building Inspector 2 in 2021 and was recently promoted to Senior Building Inspector. Prior to joining the city, Matthew worked with his father for their family construction company doing remodels, additions, and tenant improvements in the Bay Area. In Matthew's spare time, he enjoys spending time with his family, visiting local parks, museums, and aquariums. And his family recently enjoyed the trip to the Children's Creativity Museum in San Francisco and the Monterey Bay Aquarium. They plan to visit the Exploratorium in the coming month. So you're getting a lot of visitations in, too. Congratulations for joining the City of Newark, and look forward to it. Thank you. I should mention, for those participating via Zoom, when we get to the item that you want to speak on, please use the raise your hand feature, and the city clerk will turn on your microphone to speak at the appropriate time. Okay, item C is public comment on any item not listed on tonight's agenda. And for Zoom attendees, please use the raise your hand feature if you'd like to speak. First of all, would anybody in the audience like to speak? Anybody? Okay, Ms. Harrington, is there any requests to speak online?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. And the consent calendar this evening will consist of items D1 through D8. Are there any items that staff would like pulled from the consent calendar?
Not this evening, Your Honor.
Okay. Are there any items that the public would like pulled from the consent calendar? Okay, Ms. Harrington, will you check Zoom?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Are there any items that the city council would like pulled from the consent calendar?
Not tonight.
Okay, thank you. So now the consent calendar will consist of the following items. D1 is approval of audited demands. D2 is approval of the September 22nd, 2022 meeting minutes. Item D3 is adopt a resolution finding that there is a proclaimed state of emergency, finding that the meeting in person would present imminent risk to the health or safety of attendees as a result of the state of emergency, and authorizing continued remote teleconference meetings of the legislative bodies of the city of Newark for the 30-day period beginning October 13th, pursuant to AB 361. And item 4 is consideration of application for permission to file a late claim by Kim Irene Schultz. Item D5 is adopt a resolution approving a First Amendment to the contractual services agreement with Stantec Consulting Incorporated. Item D6 is second reading and adoption of an ordinance amending zoning map established pursuant to Title 17 of the Newark Municipal Code associated with the FMC Willow and Grand Park project. Item D7 is adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute the First Amendment to the contractual services agreement with Client First Consulting Group, LLC, to provide temporary information technology services and amend the 2022-2024 biennial budget. Item D8 is adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute the Second Amendment to the consulting services agreement with Robert Half International Incorporated to provide technical temporary information technology support. Would someone like to move that the items be approved as recommended by staff, with any items approved by resolution or ordinance being numbered consecutively, and that the reading of the title suffice for the purpose of introduction or adoption of the ordinance? Okay, is there a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Okay. Let's see, I should say please vote, but it doesn't look like.
Remember, was
This is not showing the vote.
the vice mayor using last meeting, and maybe screw up a bit the machine.
Okay, please vote. Okay, motion passes 4 ayes and 1 absent. Councilmember Bucci absent.
Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newark amending the official zoning map established pursuant to Title 17 zoning and Section 03020 zoning ordinance by rezoning all that real property shown on the vesting tentative map 8559 from Business and Technology Park and Park to medium density residential with form-based code, commercial mixed use with form-based code, transit station, public facilities, and park.
Okay, thank you. Our next item is E, public hearings, and there are no public hearings this evening. So we'll go to item F, other business. Staff report, please, Mr. Benoon.
Yes, good evening, Your Honor, members of the council. Item F1 is a recommendation from city staff to introduce an ordinance making certain amendments to the city's building code. This is a process that we undergo every 3 years. In addition, a resolution has been prepared that would establish the public hearing for November 10th, 2022. Tonight, our chief building official, Mr. Matthew Farrell, will provide the council with the staff report. Mr. Farrell?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Every 3 years, the state construction codes are updated. As required by state law, these codes become effective January 1st, 2023. Prior to the mandatory adoption, jurisdictions have the opportunity to modify these codes provided the changes do not lower the standards and are necessary to address local conditions. There are 12 parts to the California Title 24 Building Standards Codes. Staff is recommending to create a new section outlining Newark's administrative code following the state requirements. Staff is also recommending the adopting of 6 codes with amendments. Those codes are building, residential, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire. Staff is recommending adopting the remaining 6 codes without amendment. These codes are reference standards, historical building, existing building, energy, green building, and administrative. All of the proposed amendments involve administration standards or technical changes that are carried over from previous ordinances. The new amendments being recommended for adoption by City Council involve clarification for electrical equipment safety, sprinkler modifications to align with the city's existing fire code amendments, The state requires local jurisdiction to provide findings for any changes made to the state codes. Staff is recommending that council make those findings as enumerated in the statement of findings included in the agenda package. In addition, staff is recommending City Council adopt 6 of the state codes with amendments and 6 codes without. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. First, would anybody in the audience like to speak on this item? Anybody? Nobody? Okay, Ms. Harrington, is there anybody on Zoom?
No, sir.
Nobody. Okay. So City Council, does City Council have any comments? Vice Mayor Hannon?
Thank you, Mayor. As I reviewed the, thank you for your presentation, Matthew, I appreciate it. As I reviewed the code sections, one thing stood out to me, and I'm hoping you can provide some clarification to our residents, specifically as it relates to fire sprinkling systems, where the code says for 1 and 2 family dwellings and townhouses, the code language is proposed to change in order to match the fire code requirements for existing structures. It sounds like what they're suggesting is that with all new construction, we require sprinkler systems, but they're looking at a modification of the code where sprinkler systems may be required for existing homes. Could you describe that process? And what would the possible anticipated cost be to a homeowner? Thank you.
So currently, State Fire Marshal has gone on record where they want to make nearly all homes that are being remodeled include sprinklers whenever they can, when technically feasible. Some time ago, Newark created a cost-based approach similar to many other jurisdictions when they created a residential rehabilitation ordinance, and that has to do with about how much your remodel or rehabilitation of the home costs, whether it's tearing down X number of walls or total removal and replacement of structures. The language proposed here is intended to simplify when it would be practical and reasonably cost-effective to install fire sprinklers in existing structures. The language that we've proposed is when a house goes to 3,600 square feet. So if your house, if you wanted to propose an addition up to and including 3,600 square feet, or if 50% of the exterior walls and the roof are being removed and or replaced, so a very extensive remodel, which is probably going to be upwards of $500,000 to $700,000. The cost to install sprinklers at that point is only about $20,000 to $40,000, which is less than 10% of what the total construction cost for the house would be.
Quick follow-up, Mayor, if I may. Mm-hmm. Will sprinkler systems be required in ADUs?
Only if the main house is already sprinklered. So there's current state law that we can't require additional sprinklers be done unless there's 3 exceptions. Bonnie, would you like to take over on that? This is Fire Marshal Tara.
Good evening, Council. It's a pleasure to be before you. For those people in the audience that don't know who I am, my name is Bonnie Tara, and I'm one of the division chiefs with the Alameda County Fire Department, and I have the pleasure of overseeing the bureau that enforces fire and life safety codes. So as the building official was indicated, ADUs would not require sprinklers unless the building that is on the property already has sprinklers. The only other time that sprinklers would kick in to an ADU is when that structure is being put on the property in such a position that exceeds 150 feet from the point of fire department access. And then there's an exception in the code that allows for sprinkler structures. The fire code official can up the distance to, in our case, in Alameda County, we do 200 feet. So they would install sprinklers to get an additional up to 200 feet of access, meaning we could park way out at the street and have to go up to 200 feet. But other than that, ADUs do not get sprinklers, and it's a fairly quick, easy, and expedited process to get an ADU permit. We are cognizant of the fact that housing is an issue in the Bay Area, and we want to keep housing going, and we want to keep people in safe housing.
Thank you, Mayor, and I absolutely agree with you. Our primary goal is to make sure people are safe in our community. So thank you for being here tonight, and
No
thank
problem.
you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Okay. Other questions from council? Councilmember Freitas?
Mr. Farah, what's the percentage on the remodeling? You said up to 38%.
50%, so it's a major remodel, or 3,600 square feet. So if you
36
intend,
of 50.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Any other questions? If none, okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I'm glad to move the item F1.
I'll second, Mayor.
Okay, please vote. Motion passes, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember Bucci absent.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newark repealing and replacing chapters 1502, 1508, 1509, 1510, 1516, 1517, 1518, 1520, 1521, 1522, and 1523 of Title 15 Buildings and Construction of the Newark Municipal Code in order to adopt by reference with modifications to address unique local conditions, the 2022 editions of the California Administrative Code, California Building Code, California Residential Code, California Mechanical Code, the California Electrical Code, the California Plumbing Code, the California Fire Code, the California Reference Standards Code, California Historical Building Code, the California Existing Building Code, the California Energy Code, and the California Green Building Standards Code.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is council matters. And under council matters, I'd just like to recognize that October is National Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'd like to recognize the importance and contributions made by Hispanic Americans and a time to celebrate the diversity of their histories, traditions, and cultures. The Hispanic community in Newark continues to play an important part in promoting the diversity of our community, and we thank them all for the contributions they make. Okay, with that, I would go to Vice Mayor Hannon.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real briefly, ballots have gone out to all Newark residents today and tomorrow. It's one of our most fundamental constitutional rights is to vote as citizens in this country, so I encourage all Newark residents to take the opportunity to vote. They can vote by mail, they can vote by dropping off their ballot here at the Civic Center, or they can vote in person. So please exercise your right as citizens and make sure you participate in the process. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations? Oh, Councilmember Collazo.
There we go. So I have 3 very important announcements. First one, October is cancer awareness. And it used to be just breast, but now it's all cancers, prostate included. So please make your appointments. If you have not done so, make appointments with your doctors, get checked. Lost a friend. She passed, I think it was about a week ago on Wednesday. She was 34 to cancer. By the time she realized she had cancer, it was too late, too far gone. She's my son's age. They went to school together, you know, so get checked for cancer, number 1. Number 2, I forgot to bring in my poster. It's sitting in my car. Pretend I'm holding it up. Dia de los Muertos, October 22nd at the plaza. So it's part of our culture, our Latin heritage, that we honor those that have passed before us. And it's going to be a great event. We have all kinds of music and Aztec dancers. We have the blessings, and it's going to be great. Come on out from 1 to 5. And number 3, Shop Newark. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Councilmember Freitas.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. Just one item. And last Thursday, a week ago today, the final state of the State District addressed by Senator Walkowski recognized local people, and our honorable mayor was recognized under the Legacy Award for you were the local hero. So I want to congratulate you and your wife to be recipients of this award, well deserved, and the end of pretty much Senator Walkowski's career and your career, political careers. So to you, congratulations, well deserved.
Okay,
That concludes my.
okay, thank you, sir. So there's no closed sessions tonight, so with that, meeting is adjourned.